Hello everyone, welcome to Chasing the Murder Talking News. We're doing a talking news segment. Before we get started, subscribe and like to help us out. And I don't like to waste any time, I like to go ahead and get started. So here's an update on the Gabby Petito case. There's actually quite a bit going on. We have Cassie Laundrie, Bryan Laundrie's sister, kind of in the spotlight, which I think is kind of crazy that you even bother her right now. We have the autopsy for Gabby Petito. Rumors saying that it's probably they're going to hold those results, and we know that's a possibility anyways, considering what's going on with the case. We have new police body cam coming out, giving you a little bit of a different version of what went on August 12th. When a couple was pulled over by cops after being reported that they were aggressively fighting. Then you have those celebrities that are still kind of cashing in on this, but still no results. So first, what I want to do is jump into August 12th, the argument between Gabby and her fiance, Bryan Laundrie. This young couple was trying to get started this travel blog, and they had started early June. And here we are. I think it pretty much ended at the end of August. How did it end? Well, if you don't know the story, check out my older videos. But short version of it is Gabby Petito disappeared. Bryan Laundrie ended up coming home September 1st without her, driving her van. So Gabby Petito's fiance and his family are kind of taking on a lot of heat right now. A lot of people suspect that there's a chance that the parents are helping Bryan Laundrie hide, but rumors coming out are saying that the parents were lied to, but we don't know because we don't have the affidavits on this right now. So we still have a lot of the puzzle missing. I do speculate some, but I try not to speculate too much. So August 12th, the couple's pulled over. Several witnesses reported them arguing and fighting. And when cops start talking to them, you can tell that Gabby Petito looks extremely exhausted and stressed. As for Bryan, he looks more embarrassed and shamed by what's going on. The couple ran out of water. They needed to get gas. So they stopped in the Moonflower community to do that. Didn't turn out well. What we're hearing, according to what we know at this time, based off the evidence available, Bryan Laundrie had taken Gabby Petito's phone and kept it away from her. He puts her book bag either on top or in the back of the van. He refuses to let Gabby inside the van. He tells Gabby to cool off, but Gabby says she doesn't want to relax or cool off. This is what leads into that little bit of an altercation that people see where they're kind of laying hands on each other. Gabby says that she slapped Bryan first and that Bryan grabbed at her face. This is what I find important. Bryan, the fact that when he does lash back, where he lashes back is very important as to what might have happened later on. So we know, according to Gabby, at least, allegedly, Bryan grabs her face and holds on to it. Watching that video, you can tell that on the side of her face, one side anyways, it's kind of tender because she carefully kind of massaged it. Sorry guys. And so for me, it tells me if they would have got into an altercation later on at the end of August, what if he is the one responsible for whatever happened to Gabby, most likely it's going to have something to do with the neck and face. In my opinion, it's really kind of easy to read some of these cases and where they're going to go just based on how they act. So how does the public feel about this argument? Well, some feel as though Gabby was not 100% innocent, not saying that she deserved it, but saying that she was quite aggressive, that she got easily upset and got physical. They feel like a lot of people are making her out to look like a complete innocent angel, which I really can't comment on at this time because we don't know who she is or what she's like or what really happened. Others believe that this has been a domestic relationship for a long time and that Bryan was basically trying to control her and that he was the main aggressor between the two. Based on facts of what we know at this time, we know that the two did have spats, and when they spat, they usually separated for a small amount of time and then they would get together and everything would be fine. According to family members, the couple seemed to have no issues whatsoever. Gabby never showed signs of any type of anxiety or stress. But there is one couple that would know more than we do on that one, and that would be Bryan Laundrie's family, because they hung out with her a lot more than most people, because she wasn't around her family that much. She was more around Bryan's family. But guess what? They're not talking. Which leads me to this next update. So right now, we know that the Laundrie family, as soon as the police were on this case, they kind of shut down. They went and hired an attorney. And what I haven't been able to do is to pinpoint that exact date that they hired this attorney, because that's going to say everything you need to know as far, are they kind of locking up to protect their son or not? Because we're hearing these rumors that the parents kind of were lied to by Bryan. Some rumors saying that when he returned, that Gabby and him were not getting along. She let him use the van in order to, get some of his stuff there. So let's jump back to August 12th. So August 12th, we know they fight, but around August 17th, we're hearing that Bryan Laundrie actually flew back to visit his family. I haven't got a lot of detail on that right now, but that's interesting. So he flies back. So when did he fly back to be with Gabby? Was Gabby alone during that time? And what was really going on with that? What did Bryan tell his parents? Well, the only person talking in that family is Bryan's sister. And when she first talked, she said she hadn't spoken with Bryan. But she said she hadn't spoken with Bryan since Gabby was reported missing. Because when the public found out that Cassie actually had gone camping with Bryan and his family on September 6th, the public started second guessing what Cassie had to say. Not to exclude what the attorney of the family is saying. He wasn't helping the matters much. But yes, she said that she was there for a brief moment of time, that she felt as if Bryan was not being truthful. She even gave these photos showing Bryan with her children, and he appears to be fine. I mean, he looks like everything's normal. He's happy. He doesn't look confused, upset, or anything else. When you think back to this latest witness that said that they saw Bryan, remember that they mentioned that he looked confused. Now, this witness believed that this was 100% Bryan that he was talking to at the North Carolina-Tennessee line, which is not far from the Appalachian Trail, claiming that Bryan was driving a white truck. I have a video up on that that I loaded yesterday. You can check that out to find out more details on that. So this doesn't fit the same narrative as the witness, what they're seeing. So let's think about this. So if he knows that Gabby's no longer here, which he probably does because he's not concerned with finding her, this camping trip on September 6th, he appears to be fine. No signs of any kind of distress or anxiety. So why doesn't he seem distressed? So here's my thoughts on this. Gabby has a friend that has kind of come forward and told what she thought Bryan was like and what Gabby and Bryan were going through. I won't use her full name, so let's call her Davis. She says that Bryan has jealousy problems and is struggling with what Gabby would call episodes. She said at that point, Gabby needed a break and didn't want to go back home to her parents. I think so. There you go. There's a clue as to why her father might have moved to Florida. So Gabby would stay with her friend. Now, she does say that Bryan and Gabby both used the app to where they would share their location on the iPhone. She says, quote, in order to keep each other safe, end quote. This is in case they get lost. Now remember, in the argument, August 12th, he says, I don't have a phone. And if she takes off with the phone, then I have no way, I'm kind of stranded. What it sounds like to me is he probably has a phone. If he didn't, it broke. And he was just trying to keep control over Gabby's phone. Okay, for those of you following the Chris Watts case, listen close. So Gabby's friend says that Bryan was calm and was sweet, a nice, compassionate person, but he's a little off and a little weird. She remembers being at the beach with the couple and he installs this hammock. She says she felt like he was a little strange because he wasn't really sitting with them. He was just kind of sitting off by himself. Again, she mentions the fact that Bryan has a problem with jealousy. And that really, Gabby didn't have any friends. In fact, Davis claims that she was her only friend as far as she knew in Florida. Now, this says a lot about Bryan. So remember that nice, calm, sweet guy. According to Davis, Bryan is the reason that Gabby said she did not have friends. All of these are signs that he is very controlling. He's jealous, he's scared, and he's very socially awkward. He's jealous of relationships that Gabby has. Because of this, he would want to, allegedly now, if this is the way he is, he would want to keep her to himself and away from everyone. And so anybody that he would find a threat, a threat to gaining Gabby's trust, time, would definitely be a reason for him to cut them off. So what she says makes sense, that on August 12th, when they were arguing, he had her phone and wouldn't let her have it. I believe that they had had difficulties before now and that it had escalated to the point that he was so controlling. She was mentally breaking down, which was creating her to act out more than usual. That's my idea at this time based off of what we know. And of course, as we learn more about the story, we can jump back and compare what we think to what we actually happened. So Bryan Laundrie was definitely embarrassed when the police showed up August 12th of 2021. And at one point, he offered to go to jail for Gabby because they threatened that because of the Utah laws, one of them would have to go to jail. So either that was a front or he actually does care for her a bit to where he at least looked like he would offer an opportunity for her not to go to jail and him to take her place. So far, what do we know? So we are speculating based off what we have that he's a jealous, controlling, caring guy who loves his family but has low self-esteem and is afraid that no one would love him anymore. He's awkward in social situations that he's not familiar with. He gets embarrassed easily, and he seems to wonder what people think about him. What he should be thinking about is what he's putting his family through right now. So he should absolutely face what is going on. If he believes that this happened by mistake, he needs to tell them. He needs to come out and spare his family all this grief. So what we know about Gabby, we don't know a whole lot, but we know that she loves nature. She loves living. She loves people. And she's a sweet girl. She has dreams and she makes them happen. But her one negative is she gives up everything for the man she loves, including her own life. So Bryan Laundrie, if you're listening to this podcast by chance, do what's right, guy. Do what Gabby would want you to do. And that is turn yourself in and quit causing so much grief to the family. There are children, your nieces and nephew are having to deal with that, and they don't deserve to. Okay, so real quick, hopping back to September 6th, when Bryan goes camping at Fort DeSoto with his parents. What we're learning is his sister and her children show up, and you can see the pictures that she shared here, that Bryan's happy and he's smiling. So there's several reasons for that, and that is one of them is he's happy to know that he doesn't have to deal with jealousy any longer. And that's the selfish in him, is he rather be alone than to think that Gabby could be with somebody else. You know, this is what I'm speculating. So this is his way of thinking, someone with this mindset. He also may need to put up a front. So if him and Gabby's breaking up, or whatever he tells his parents, wouldn't they expect him to look a little bit less happy? Because they had to have seen where he was very controlling over Gabby. So even as a parent, they would have the thought, well, something isn't right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the celebrities involved with this. So there's several celebrities, and many of them are very interested in the Gabby Petito case. One particular is who? Bounty Hunter, aka Dog. He took an interest in his case, saying that his fans asked him to. And immediately he thinks that he found the campsite, which I know FBI already knew about, at Fort DeSoto. They pull up the security footage, and then he takes an interest in searching that area. There are tiny islands around that campground, so I doubt, in my opinion, he would even be there. Now, there are ferries in that area that I think that he might have been interested in taking, but I think his reasoning for being at that campground was to spend time with his family, because he knew that he most likely was going to be on the run. So right now they're talking about the Bounty Hunter. It might be his show, maybe a new show. Okay, so there's talk about the dog having a TV series rolling back in. I would think that he would have to actually, pull up at least some clues of where Bryan Laundrie was last at. So, nothing so far. And I know a lot of you guys are big fans of him, and you believe that he can, find Bryan. Well, I hope you're right. Somebody needs to, don't they? So, Polk County Sheriff here in Florida had something to say about this case as well. And it was kind of funny, to be honest. He mentioned the fact that once Bryan Laundrie returned without Gabby, that if the police were called, he guarantees that once they found out that something was suspicious, they would never take their eyes off of Bryan Laundrie. So there you go. You got professionals saying that maybe the Northport police station might have dropped the ball on this one, and as well as the FBI. But there's nothing we really can do about it now. You just have to move forward and try to do the best to make up for mistakes that you make, because you are human. So where is Bryan Laundrie? Well, I've been looking on the map, and like I said, I believe that he's going to be traveling these hiking trails that only a few people know about, as well as have to use the power line trails eventually. And he'll probably use like ferries and boats in order to get to isolated areas if he chooses. Of course, the Appalachian Trail is a possibility, but because so many people are going to be focusing on that area, I don't see him really going there. And if he does, then he definitely isn't keeping up with his case. The question is, does Bryan Laundrie have a piece of technology that he's able to keep up with everything that's going on? Considering the fact that they haven't found any sign of him so far, I would have to say he has something. So watching them search the Carlton Reserve for Bryan in this swampy area, which is basically, guys, 90% water. They have been using airboats lately, and the way that they're searching, well, I don't know how they're going to see anything anyways. It really does look like a sloppy search. That's my opinion. I just feel like they're just really not attacking this in the right way, because it's so dense with woodland, brushes, trees, water. It's going to be so easy for somebody to hide. So how long can he hide in a swampy area? Well, I'm really surprised he's still doing it if he's in the area. I can tell you that it's been kind of, we've had some pretty cool wind, though it's been hot days. We've also had some pretty nice nights, so it's not too cold, it's not too hot, so that's working out to his advantage at least. But you still have the mosquitoes, which they're very bad this time of year, and they're extremely worse this year. Now, the fact that they've not been able to see a fire, how is he going to get sanitary water? So this leads me to believe that he has moved somewhere to where he can at least use the night cover in order to seek food and nourishment, water, anything like that. So where is he going? Well, nobody knows. There are extremely a lot of what they say Bryan Laundrie sightings. So the public are giving him a nickname of Bryan Dirty Laundrie. But really, he just needs to come forward and stop the pain that his family's going through. Don't forget, guys, we still have Jasmine Robinson, Kiera Coles, Dulce, Monkey, Aisha, Wells, Donita, Suzanne, Yasmin, and many, many, many more people that continue to go missing. Once you finish watching this video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and go check out the videos on the names I just mentioned. Thank you guys so much for caring enough to watch these videos. Thank you so much to all my subscribers. Love you guys so much. I appreciate everything you've done. And I'll see you guys soon.